Hello, and welcome. I am Joshua Harrell, and I am so happy to be here with you today, talking about a product very near and dear to my heart. It's actually something that I created, so I thought, what shall I bring to you today? And I thought, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So I am going to be talking about the Show Up and Shine planner. That is not a very flattering shot of my chin, but this is a very flattering shot of the Show Up and Shine planner. So I will definitely be talking about that. And you know, as with anything here, the engagement is so important, and we've got chat live, so please chat with me. I am happy to answer any questions, or if you want to just give me big props, I'm happy with that. But the chat right alongside here. If you're watching it live, of course you can't be watching this on demand, but I'm so happy that I'm able to come to you and talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite products, and that is the Show Up and Shine planner. So here is the planner. It's a nice size there. Just to give you a little background on it, I have been working with teams for many years, and one of the big things I think on anybody and anywhere where you work, you're always trying to get more done. You're always trying to not forget stuff. I think early on, I got the Franklin Covey planners, day timers. I mean, just so many physical planners. Then I went digital and used a lot of project management software. But more and more I found, and I can't quote a study on this, but I have heard a study on this. The things that you write down are the things that you remember best. So I set out on a mission to create a planner that was the perfect planner for me. So it needed to be pretty and vibrant. I love orange, and so it is orange. It also needed to be colorful on the inside. So, oops, I just hit my mic there. So the pages you'll see they've got a little bit of color in them. I also needed freedom to use it in many different ways. So for working with my team, being in meetings, just kind of brainstorming things that I had to do, whether it was for work or for my personal life. I am only one person, so it is all combined. But I wanted to give myself enough freedom that I did not feel like it would be too rigid for me to use or stick to. So I am a big journaler. I like to journal, and I had picked up journals around this size and thickness, and I really liked them because I could open it all the way and it would lay flat. Therefore, I could write on the entire surface, whereas if it was a hardbound planner, then it would kind of stick up a little bit, and I'd never get in the center bit there. Also, if it was a binder, like a 3-ring binder, that was a little clunky because you've got the holes and the rings you're trying to write around. And I just I wanted something compact but still sizable enough to really get my thoughts down. Oh, I'm just showing you the back here. It's got a little sun moon icon on the back, or sun with stars. Let me see, let me take you to this camera so you can see it a little bit closer. That's the cover, and then that is the back. So sun rays and some stars coming out here just to be a little inspirational So that's the outer cover, and it is a vinyl cover, not leather. Very flexible, nice and bendy. The other thing that was really important to me is sliding this into my bag along with my iPad, my computer. I didn't want any scratchy surfaces or for it to add too much weight to my bag. So that's kind of how the physical, the outer bits work. So orange, vinyl, it's got a nice debossed cover. And then I guess what I'll do is I will shift it to the pages themselves. Whoops, I just lost my screen there. There we go. Live chatting still alive. So please chat with me if you've got any questions. All right, so we're gonna move to my handheld camera here. Let's see. So this is the cover. I'll give it a moment for it to kind of catch up there. So here's the cover. Space for name, email, phone, year, quarter. It is a 90-day planner, and that really comes down to the size. I needed it to be something that if it was for a full year, it would just be massive and kind of defeat the purpose of what I was trying to achieve there. But you can write your name on it, put down what year, what quarter it is. And then I've given you some instructions. What's inside the planner? You get a page of annual goals. You get a design the week section. You get a daily rituals page, which I'll talk about. You get 3 monthly calendars. Then you get 3 project roadmaps to help you with planning out projects. You get 13 weekly positioning pages, which just help you map out the week. And then you get 91 daily pages. So that is just kind of a rundown of what's inside. Then I've given you full instructions on how to use the planner. Of course, there aren't really rules. I wanted to make sure that this was something that anybody could use, and that was pretty important to me. Oops, something's going on there. Nice live television action there, trying to do many different things at once. All right, so let's see. Let me make sure you can see this all right. So this is your page for annual goals. Very, very self-explanatory. You've just got a big, long list. This is where when I get started with a new planner, I really go to town, listing out everything that I want to get done, whether it's in the near future or again, it's for the full year. Oops, it's kind of not very clear there. I apologize for that. And then I kind of go back through and write down which quarter I think I'm going to get this done. Is it going to be the quarter that I'm actually working on this planner for, or is it going to be a future quarter that I'll be working in? And then I've got a little space here where I can just tick the box as things get completed. Sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I jot out all my goals, and when they're completed, I just strike a line through it. It really depends on you and your style. Sometimes you want to be a little neater, and you want to be able to see the things that you have crossed out. Other times you don't care because you've actually gotten them done. So that's how that works. Then you've got 3 of these project roadmap pages, which just give you a nice structure to work with as you are tackling the bigger projects that you're going to be working on over the next 3 months. You've got a place for the goal. Why are you doing this? You've got some progress goals, which just helps you with your milestones. And then you break down your progress goals into individual actions, tasks for each one. Just a way for you to think. Sometimes I find when I'm working on a project, it's just the idea of actually thinking all the pieces through that really makes a difference on whether or not I've really outlined the project in its entirety. So that's I use this to kind of train my brain, and then I do apply it to most things that I'm working on. But the bigger projects, say launching a website, planting a garden, decorating the house, things that are going to have multiple moving parts. I do like to use my project roadmaps for those. So that's that piece of it. Then the next section that I've got here, let's see, moving through a couple of the project roadmaps, and I'll move to camera 2 here. We've got a design the week spread, which just gives you, starting at 5 a.m. all the way to 8:30 p.m., gives you space to block out what is the perfect week for you. And that could be lunch every day at noon, all the way across Monday through Friday. Time for exercise, time for just doing deep work in the office, open office hours, just kind of mapping out what your ideal situation would be, the ideal flow would be. And that would be something that obviously can change from week to week. During this time, as we're all working from home, or most of us are working from home, the perfect week kind of doesn't really exist. Although I will say that I did have to revisit my designing of the week, just because there were so many things that I don't know, I guess with this time, with everything being kind of different, I lacked some structure in making sure that I got, time set aside to exercise, time set aside to read, time set aside to do work, and then time to do kind of my passion projects. So kind of revisiting what my week would look like today in today's situation was important to me. And then as things start to adjust, I come back to this every single time that I open up a new planner for a new quarter, just to see, has anything changed? Can I do something better? Was something unrealistic? Did I not even break out time for me to eat? Was I just moving through and trying to cram so much through into my schedule? So I'll go back to camera 2 there. I'll show you daily rituals. This gives you space for morning, evening, or at the end of the workday. What are the things that you do every single morning, every single evening, breaking down how much time it takes. It really, again, this is getting very, very structured, but I find that if you do get into a routine, it does help your brain not to have to stress about those things. Oh, did I do this? Oh, I got to remember to do that. Oh, did I brush my teeth? Now, brushing my teeth might not be something I put down here unless it really is something that I'm forgetting. But when I check email, when I return phone calls, at the end of the day, I kind of go through a process of shutting down. So I do my last round of emails and I shut those down. I open up my calendar and look at what's on the schedule for the next day, and then I look at my calendar and see, is that really, or my to-dos, is that really feasible for me to get done during that time, or do I need to shift things around? I might need to send an email to postpone a meeting or give somebody a call. But I do have a kind of a shutdown process, and I do go in a particular order, and that's what I map out here. And in the beginning, when I first started doing these, it just helped me think about, what would my daily rotation be? What makes the most sense, and what is something that I can feel confident in just kind of jumping in the groove, and this is what I do every single morning. And for me, it's get my cup of coffee, sit down before I turn on my computer and start letting all the outside noise come in from email. I look at my to-do list and I just look and see, does this make sense for me? Do I need to shift things off? Did something happen overnight that I thought of, that I jotted down, that I need to get done? So I kind of I have this schedule of time in the morning to make sure that I don't get overwhelmed with outside influence. I'm holding this camera here. It looks, I apologize if it looks a little weird. But anyway, that's where the rituals come in. You have pages all throughout the book for notes, and they're set up in a way where, you can just free flow, write any kind of note you want, or it could turn into a to-do list. You've got a little key at the bottom. Oops, the light's a little funky there. A square means an action or a task. A circle is an item that I'm delegating to somebody. A star means it's important, and a Q is a question. So you'll find these notes all throughout the notebook, all throughout the planner. And they're there for your note-taking space. For the most part, I'm able to take my notes just on these pages, but in some situations, I might need to flip over to another page or add a little insert here. But for the most part, I do pretty good with that. All right. Then you've got 3 monthly calendar spreads. This is not dated, so you've got the freedom to stop and start whenever you want. You just come in here, write down the month, and then you fill in your dates. And you'll notice there's 2 tones here. I don't know if I'm getting that very well there. But this little area right here, that's my thoughtful calendar. And I got that idea from a friend of mine that I worked with who had quite a large team that she was in charge of. And, in a phone conversation, she'd hear her dog was, one of her team members' dog, they were having a surgery in like 3 weeks, and it was something they were anxious about. So while she was on the phone with them, she would jot down, check in on, so-and-so's dog because they had surgery. And also, adding birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. But I thought, gosh, that's so clever we have those reminders, especially in our phone. Facebook gives us birthdays, things like that. But to have, this is my working tool that I use, to have a space that when I am looking at the calendar and I see, oh, this coming Friday is so-and-so's birthday, maybe I do something special. Maybe it's just an email, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's sending a card, whatever it is. It's making sure that I've got that balance in life. I'm not just solely focused on work, because you do get in those modes and you definitely forget birthdays, and you are not thinking about somebody's dog that's having issues and is having to go to the vet all the time. So I like the idea of kind of blending it together with my appointments. As I'm mapping out my 3 months, I'm using this monthly calendar to jot in the appointments that I know about ahead of time. And then from there, I am going to go, let's see, like I said, we have, and there are 3, oops, I'm just like moving the camera all around. There are 3 spine ribbons, so you can mark your place wherever you need to go back to more frequently, whether it's coming back to the monthly page, maybe it's coming back to your annual goals, maybe it's coming back to project roadmap, and of course you'll want one positioned on your daily page, whatever day you're in. So those are the little spine ribbons. Sorry, not spinal ribbons. That sounds awful. All right, so here's a weekly positioning page. So at the beginning of every single week, you've got a weekly positioning page. You can, again, it's not dated, so you can write in your week of, what the date is. Jot down your wins from last week. Put down your weekly milestones. Again, those are things that they're those mile markers along the way. These are the things that you know you need to get done this week. It's a part of maybe a project or just a part of your annual goals. But these are the three things that have to get done for you to stay on track or feel like you're on track. I use these pages then to kind of jot out the course of the week, plan my week. And these are things that I can do well in advance. Like I can go through the whole book and date each of my weekly positioning pages. So if there's something that I need to mark, if I'm not going to work on my monthly calendar, I can work on my weekly positioning pages, and I can use those all throughout, because each time I start a new week, I've got a weekly positioning page. And I've got one of those note pages. Again, it has that little key of how I can jot on my notes, whether it's a to-do item or something important that I want to remember, a question that I had that I need to ask somebody, or something that I've delegated to someone else. So that's weekly positioning. And then going through, we've got the daily pages. Each one of those is marked with the day, but just not the date. So this little gray bar here, it's not marked as date, because if you're in some countries, the day comes first before the month, or the month comes before the date. So I wanted to give you just a little space so you could have some flexibility there. You can obviously jot down when your appointments are. I do those as I'm looking on Sunday nights when I'm looking at my weekly positioning page. That's when I fill this section out for the week. And then I do the same thing for the next week. So I don't really work ahead of time on my daily pages. I really use my weekly positioning pages for that. And then this little area right here, this little free box here, is called the DPS. And that's your daily positioning statement. Everyone that has gotten the planner has asked me, what does the DPS mean? And I do have that in the instructions in the front of the book. But the DPS, to me, it's different things at different times. When I would commute into work, into my office, I would listen to a lot of audiobooks. And I'm a big fan of nonfiction. So there'd be an idea or something from the book that, it could be a very, very simple statement. I'll write that down here. It might be a quote from someone famous that I got when I opened up my computer and somebody shared it on Facebook. It could also be, and this exact situation happened, but it could be as simple as, oh, by the way, it's Christmas. Because at one particular December, I was so overwhelmed with the amount of work and the things that I was doing that I didn't even remember to order gifts. I don't know. I felt it was very important for me to set my intention for the day, and that was to remember that it was the holiday. So that's a free form space. You can use it for whatever you want, but that is I've used it in many different ways through the course of the years. Then we've got here the today's targets. This just gives you space for your top 3 things that need to get done today. Those probably tie into some of your targets for the week. Or they could be things that just popped up, but these three things have to get done. Again, it could be professionally or personally. You are one person, so it's all combined. And then you've got an area here for actions and tasks, and you've got a little coding down at the bottom in how you can mark this up. Again, there are no rules. I've just given some suggestions here, but you may be wondering, well, if I've got 3 things that I have to get done, what am I going to do with my actions and tasks? Well, these are my bigger items that have to be done. They're not necessarily tick the box kind of items. They are bigger themes, like complete the presentation that you're going to give tomorrow. complete the presentation might have multiple little actions and tasks. Also, when I check my voicemail, I jot down anybody I need to ring back. Or, if somebody came by my office and said, hey, can you get me this? I'll jot that down here. So those aren't necessarily my targets. My targets are my very intentional. These are the things that have to get done today, but they might be bigger than just, tick the box, like make sure you order staples for your stapler. I don't know if you still use a stapler. Every single day, daily page has a note page. Again, it can be an extension of your to-do list. I've found that I will use this when I'm taking notes in a meeting, and that's when someone says something and it makes me think of something, and rather than interrupting their train of thought, I put a little question mark and write down my question, and know that when I review the day, I'll go through and ask that question, or send an email, or ring somebody. If it is a to-do, if I've said I'm going to do something in a meeting, then I make it a to-do list, or if I have asked somebody to do something, I make sure I mark it as something that has been delegated, and I do a big fat star if it's something important. And if as long as I'm working here and I'm not working in multiple different tools, then I feel pretty good that I'm not going to forget about something. It is part of my whole weekly routine on Sundays when I'm looking at my weekly positioning statement for the next week. I'm also looking back at all my daily pages from the previous week to see, is there anything that I had marked as a task that I didn't get done, I need to move it forward. Were there questions that I had that I never got answers to? That's it's a brainstorming time, but it's also a time when I'm following up and checking to make sure that I am I'm not losing track of anything. So that's why it's helpful to have it all in here. Like I said, this lays flat, and I can use every inch. I can write all around the edges. That's pretty important to me. The laying flat and not scratching up my other things that I have in my electronics. I get very, very anal if I get a scratch on my laptop or iPad. So yeah, it's the Show Up and Shine planner. I created it, so I thought I should definitely bring it to you here. It is undated, so you can go at your own pace. Sometimes when they're dated, you're like, oh, I'll wait until January 1st to get started. Nope, you can get started anytime. It is 90 days, so you can stop and start whenever you want. You've got, the dimensions. I jotted this down just in case I forgot to mention. It's the pages are 8 by 10, and it's a 1/2 inch deep. With the cover, it's slightly bigger. So you can probably see that. Let's see. Look in there. But it's really, I've gotten some great feedback. In fact, I think I've even got a screenshot of the Amazon page, and got some. Now I'm gonna have to put my reading glasses on. I learned that last time I was on Amazon. I did not have my glasses. So here we've got someone, they said, great planner for a short time frame. Love the layout and the feel of this planner. I would love to purchase one for 12 months next time. Easy to stay on track and motivated. That's great feedback. Again, the choice was to not make it go for 12 months because it would be so much bigger, but I have gotten that feedback before. So maybe we do another version of that. Everything I wanted and more, everything I expected and more, literally has all that I wanted in a planner that is compact but not too small and lies flat. Well, I think I've just said that multiple times. And it's perfect, beautiful. So that was super helpful. But it is my passion to have a tool that everyone can use, whether you are a creator, an author, an artist, or an accountant, or a leader, or not a leader, a mom, dad. It didn't matter. I wanted to give some freedom and flexibility so you had a tool that everyone can use. If you don't want to use the project roadmaps, don't use the project roadmaps. Use them for something else. Use them as extra space. If DPS, the daily positioning statement, doesn't make sense to you, use that for the number one thing you've got to get done today. There's just a lot of room, a lot of creative space for you to cram as much in as you want. You could even use it as your daily journal, which if you didn't have the need for all the note-taking space, that definitely makes sense. But check it out. So the link is down below. It doesn't look like I've got any questions, but if you do have any questions, it's very easy. joshuaharrell.com is my website. At Joshua Harrell on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. And I've got a few more of these Amazon Lives coming up, talking about some of my favorite products. Not all products that I created, just to be fair. But I am trying to bring you just products that I find are phenomenal products, and so I hope you enjoy those items that I'm bringing your way, and I hope that you pick up the Show Up and Shine 30-day not 30-day, 90-day planner. 3-month planner is what I was trying to say, and I hope that you find it phenomenal, because at the end of the day, I am on a mission to help everyone unlock that phenomenal force inside, surround themselves with beautiful things, sexy things, things that look good but also do what they function very well. That's my definition of sexy. So I tried to create a sexy planner here, and I hope that you check it out, and it is a phenomenal product in your opinion as well. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to next time. Take care.